Welcome back to the last Daily Rundown of the week, and thank you for watching Channel 7. I'm Dan Morfitz, and with me are guests Mike Milling and Cal Doughty. Earlier in the week, we talked about the High Court ruling that those who became a Labour member in January could vote in this new Labour leadership election. However, today, Labour's National Executive Committee have said that they must have the final say over who can vote in elections and not the courts. The High Court ruled on Monday that new members were entitled to a vote under the party's rulebook. But Labour is claiming that the NEC is the ultimate arbiter as to the meaning of the rules. So is this fair? And why is the Labour Party excluding people from voting?
I mean, we know why they're excluding people from voting, because they don't want someone to win.
Who do you possibly mean?
I think they don't want the person who's brought in hundreds of thousands of people to the Labour Party since he became leader. I don't think they want old JC to win.
Yeah, I was going to say,
again.
I think you can say
I
his name.
can say his name.
It's not like Macbeth. Oh, can we say that?
You can't say the Corbyn.
No, I don't
Good old
think
JC.
they want him to win, do they?
So they don't really advocate a second coming of the JC?
No, I guess not. No. And they're pretty much doing whatever they can to stop it. I mean, it's funny that the Court of Law has argued, yeah, you've sort of been bad here, you should go back on what you did, and they're like, actually, no, we decide how that works. You're not law enough for us.
But this comes from other High Court rulings from major donors of the Labour Party trying to sway the votes by expelling some people from the votes. It's all a bit dastardly. As bad as you may think or may not think the Conservatives are, they got their leadership election done like that.
They did very quickly.
They're efficient, but so are the Nazis.
That's your opinion, Mike.
I'm joking. That was a joke. I couldn't resist saying that. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm neutral. I'm completely...
That's Mike's opinion, everyone.
Mike's opinion.
Mike's opinion. Not ours.
I'm joking. Just a joke. But all like... Again, with the whole, I'm just confused. It's confusion tactics, really, and I'm completely, confused by all political parties at the moment and everything that's going on. And like, I don't know. I was completely confused. I mean, why have they done this? Who is able to vote and who isn't? It's like before you had to register before a certain time.
I think in one weekend, Labour added more members to its ledger than the Conservatives have in total.
Yes, that's right.
In one weekend, and this is because of Jeremy Corbyn. Really, we've seen him hold rallies across the country in towns, villages, in cities, and thousands of people are turning up for him. Owen Smith is turning up in some places, handing out free ice cream. And people aren't turning up in tens, let alone thousands. It's a bit embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, but it's not even just embarrassing for Owen Smith, it's embarrassing for the Labour Party as a whole, because they're pretty much saying Corbyn can't lead the Labour Party, he can't be a leader for us. And what they mean is, we don't want to listen to him because we're unruly school children who don't want to listen to him.
And it's so frustrating, particularly for anyone who votes Labour or has voted Labour, because it's a complete mess at a time when the Labour Party could have completely jumped in and just, because look what was happening with the Prime Minister and
more than anything, we need a credible opposition.
Exactly. And they've destroyed that for themselves.
The Brexit vote meant that Cameron stood down, Osborne went, Theresa May came in. This should have been the strongest time for Labour to go on the attack, but instead they attacked themselves.
And as you say, you can say what you like about the Tories, but they came back quickly and got stuff sorted.
Well, they knew they had to, didn't they? They were very aware of what was going on. Labour just thought, we've got to get it together, guys.
But surely the swaying voter out there will look at it and just go, if they can't organise their own party, how can they run a country?
I up until very recently, I still consider myself one, but up until very recently I was essentially a Labour Party supporter. But now I've sort of been thinking about it, I was thinking, even if Jeremy Corbyn becomes leader again, they're not a secure party or anything, are they? They're unable to be one until unless they gut it out completely, in which case you've got two separate parties anyway.
And they show that they no longer exist in Scotland.
Exactly.
Which is worse than the Tories. The heartlands in England and Wales are disappearing, and they were on the full side of the Remain vote, even though Jeremy Corbyn maybe didn't go full tilt on the old electioneering for that vote. They're really losing their core supports. And they need their core support and swaying support.
I find it very hard to get excited about new Labour news or anything yet. Oh, what's happening now? I'm pretty much just at a point now where I'm like, just call me when it's over. Just tell me when it's done.
What you mean, like the world?
Oh, the world, yeah. Obviously, call me when the world's over if that happens.
Yeah, because I find it completely hard to be infused about anything to do with politics now, and to be infused with any party.
As a fight as well, though, the Labour leadership election is between two people. One who already looks like a lame duck, and he's the leader.
Yeah.
And another one who nobody knows about, and frankly, nobody cares.
Well, the other one is essentially going, I've got the same policies as Jeremy Corbyn, but I'd like to have a go at being leader instead, please.
I don't think this is the last time we're going to be talking about the Labour, their NEC, and the vote, because it's supposed to be rumbling on until September, maybe October.
Yay!
There's a chance that Donald Trump could be president before a Labour leadership election is sorted.
Hooray.
Right, let's move on to our next story now. A domestic abuse victim has received £75,000 from Greater Manchester Police after it revealed details of her treatment by a former boyfriend without her consent. The unnamed woman had agreed that the GMP could refer to her experience in a training session, providing that she remained anonymous. However, she later learned that her identity and medical history were disclosed to a wider audience. The GMP has apologised and said steps had been taken to stop similar occurrences. The victim's solicitor said that the payout was believed to be one of the biggest by a British force in a privacy case. The woman in question said she's felt betrayed by the GMP. That's Manchester spoke to solicitor Nick McAleenan about the case.
It is a very sad case, actually. The impact of the disclosure of my client was basically catastrophic. It completely turned her life upside down. It caused complete chaos in her life, to be frank. She obviously suffered huge upset and distress as a result of the disclosure, and very sadly, she also suffered psychiatric injury as a result of what happened. Obviously, the information concerned in this case was extremely private. But, I'm struggling really to think of a case involving more sensitive information. But obviously, we've now gone through the litigation process, and it's obviously a positive thing that we've been able to resolve this matter for her.
Obviously, Greater Manchester Police are in the wrong, but we have to ask, what's happened here? This is a massive infringement on somebody's personal liberty.
They said they were taking steps to sort that out, and I'm not even sure if this is something that can happen. What steps do you take to make sure this doesn't happen again? Because someone's just done this completely incorrectly. Like, I suppose you fire that person, perhaps, potentially. I don't know. You get rid of that person or stop them from doing this training or whatever they were doing. But then what from there? Do you ever hold another training session? Do you use this as an example in that?
Because as we were mentioning before, we are at a time when we need to have full faith in the police. And particularly at this time, we need to have a lot of faith in the police. And this doesn't really show that, does it?
The problem as well with this is they fought it at first. They
denied it and fought it.
They did not deny it, but they didn't say it caused psychological distress to her. Okay. And they went through litigation. So they made her go through that process. It's had to go through a court.
Which is more
for her to go through. So the £75,000 actually seems quite a small amount for what this poor woman has gone through. For what she had to go through with domestic abuse was awful in the first place. But for her to come through it and say, you can use me as an example because I don't want this to happen to anybody else and I want your processes to be better in the police.
Good on her.
For that to then be mishandled in this way is frankly disgusting.
Yeah. It's incredibly distressing as well that they can do that. I mean, it's not even that it just happened. They used more information within the training thing, but it says to a wider audience. So
they used it to other agencies that weren't the Greater Manchester Police.
Really?
That's when it's meant to just be a training event for Greater Manchester Police. How do you then think, all right, you can have it as well. You can have it. You can all have it.
And the details that they gave broke her anonymity. And gave personal medical records about it. So, what do we do? What do we think enough is being done to protect domestic abuse victims in general? Because this is an extreme case, and thankfully they've said it's an extraordinary case. It still happened, but are we trusting? Do we have enough trust in the police to help domestic abuse victims in the future?
Well, I think things like this are going to, that trust is going to disappear, and it's only going to be destructive for police working further on, because people are going to be more reluctant to give evidence or to to do anything like that, to cooperate with the police, because they don't feel safe. If you want someone to cooperate or give evidence, or who's fearful in the first place, you need to make sure that they know that they're going to be safe.
I mean, it's more than that as well, isn't it? It's not even just a police issue, it's a whole domestic abuse issue as a whole, that people who are in those situations aren't necessarily taken seriously. You had the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and his wife there. She came out as saying that he had abused her, and I looked at comments to these articles, and all people are saying are, yeah, right, we don't believe you, you're just trying to get money. And I know that that's a celebrity case, but if that's happening to people who are in the public eye, then people who aren't in the public eye aren't going to be taken seriously either. So I think that's one thing stopping people from coming forward, but to have this as well, the people you're definitely meant to be able to trust, is just going to stop it even more, and I don't know what you can do to get that trust back.
And through comments made in court and through her solicitor, she'd already gone through enough of distress with the domestic abuse, and she feared for not being believed then. When she finally did take those actions and the police did help her through, she wanted her case to be shown to help others.
Exactly,
and it's gone the other way for
Absolutely.
her, which is a really, really sad ordeal that the woman's had to go through. The money's not a recompense for what that woman's gone through, so we'll think about her. It's time for another break now on the Daily Rundown. In a bit, we talk about NHS waiting times and Robert Redford's rant about CGI, all coming up in 3 minutes here on Channel 7.